Hey you scale motor kit lovers, and welcome in my super tiny shed. Today we are gonna do chrome chipping and push the Mini that got some graffiti and bumper stickers last time ever closer to the finish line. The sheen of chrome plated parts in model kits is not great most of the time. As I already de-chromed the parts of the Mini years ago, I'll show you how to do it with these leftover parts from my unfortunate Tamiya Jaguar Mark II. Tamiya is the manufacturer that often has quite well plated chrome parts. Some brands really have heavily plated chrome parts that make your model look like a toy. But still, I want these Tamiya parts to be de-chromed as I have different plans and want to have maximum control. I always use oven cleaner for this job. You can take a container, put in the parts that you want to be de-chromed and then spray oven cleaner over it. This foam will eventually turn to a fluid. Remember, this stuff is highly corrosive, so wear gloves, safety glasses and even wearing a respirator is not a bad idea. Put the lid on the container and wait for about 5 minutes.
Stinks! Ugh, even through the filters.
All the chrome is gone. Almost all the chrome is gone. Just give it another go. A glossy layer is left behind on the parts. This can be removed by sanding. Now they are ready for the process of chrome chipping.
Robby!
First, all the parts get a primer coat as you want a solid foundation for your paintwork. Then it's time to apply the rust color that will shine through when the chrome is chipped off. At first I took this reddish color. But when I studied some photos I made of rusted real-life chrome parts, I discovered that the heart of the rust spot is always dark. So I changed my mind and sprayed all the parts in the dark rust color. But how do we get small rust spots when the parts will be covered by a layer of chrome paint? By using salt. Hence the name salt chipping, that I've rephrased in this case to chrome chipping. You start by wetting the parts with water on places where you want the salt to stick to. In other words, where you want the chips to be. Since I want small chips, I use a very fine salt. Applying the salt goes pretty much at random, although you can adjust the amount by adding extra water and salt or removing it using water alone. Leave the parts to dry for about half an hour to an hour, depending on how hot or humid it is in your super tiny shed. Of course, I use my favorite chrome from Vallejo, as this is a bit dulled down and has the right sheen in my opinion. The parts look like sugar-coated candy, but I strongly advise you not to taste them. Give it a day to dry fully and then make a mess of your workplace by removing the salt. I had waited really long with removing the salt. I sprayed the parts weeks ago on another spraying spree in this project. I noticed that some parts, especially the grill, the salt was difficult to remove. With the salt gone, time has come to make it look like real rusted chrome. Follow me on my journey to finish this Tamiya Mini Cooper diorama and subscribe.
Robby.
I think that studying real-life photos of rust is a necessity when trying to replicate anything in model making. This gives you the best chance in making a realistic-looking model. Chrome rust is, apart from the heart of the rust, pretty orangey. My choice goes with Vallejo Model Air Orange Rust to match that color. The benefit of using Model Air is that it already has a nice viscosity for painting, as it is not as rich in pigment as model color paints are. Just start applying the paint in opaque layers and spread it along all dark rust spots on the part. Some dark rust spots are too large, as too much salt has accumulated there. These spots can easily be adjusted by using Model Air Chrome by brush. By adding more and more layers of orange ever closer to the heart of the rust, the chrome rust starts to look more and more realistic. Also, small parts like these wipers are covered in chrome on the real Mini, so they get this treatment too. The wiper rubbers, painted in black, grey of course, also receive a bit of algae on them, as they tend to have that when left outside for long. The fuel caps look like tiny jewelry with the salt still on. Some spots got a bit too much and had to be corrected. Making the raised details on the cap stand out more with the wash is a good thing to do. The trunk handle got a fair share of chrome chipping as well. One of the most intricate parts of this kit is the Morris Cooper emblem that goes on the front of the bonnet. I checked some pictures on the internet and wanted to paint the details on rather than making super small decals. The red blob imitates a lion, but you already saw that, didn't you? But recording my model making activities not always goes as planned.
Hey! Oh shoot, I forgot to press record. I just painted this little blue stripe. I really did.
Small chrome dots represent the letters. Morris on the left and Cooper on the right. Painting this is like the Olympics. You're just happy when you stepped up your detailing capabilities a bit further.
Robby!
Taillights are a minute piece of work too. They are encased in a chrome frame in real life, which is minuscule on this scale. It's the first time for me to work with Tamiya enamel paints, except for the washes. I read somewhere they spread more evenly compared to its acrylic brothers and sisters from the same brand. I must say this paint flows quite nicely indeed. It is a bit transparent at first, so in order to get those popping colors you need to apply more layers. Painting the rear of the light parts is smart too. In that way you don't stack up needless layers of paint on one side and obscure its details. For the chrome frame I use my mix of Vallejo light grey and Model Air chrome. Sometimes I use the side of my brush to paint the trims, this gives me more control. These parts are so detailed that even the screw heads are molded in. But painting those is really hard as you can't see the depth properly since you can look through the glass. So it is a bit of back and forth with bumping your brush on the wrong spot, correcting it with a cotton bud and then try it again. After nipping the lights off the sprue and a bit of tidying up, these parts are ready to shine bright. Please give this video a like if you enjoy it and let me know what paint you use for your taillights. On to the headlights. I'm a bit unsure if the outer ring of the headlights are chrome or aluminium. On different pictures found online I see a different appearance of the material. I chose them to be chrome and heavily oxidized as the whole car is one big chunk of rust really. My Tamiya pliers, which have really fine and sharp blades, are excellent for cutting the headlights glass off the sprue. These lenses are so well made, don't mistake them for your own contact lenses. My Mr. Hobby applicator is a mainstay for getting glue on the inside of the headlights. This glue dries transparent, just what you want in this case. But be careful when using CA glue as it can fog up the glass, unless you have the correct variant. A piece of tape is used as a mounting grip, but I think I will buy me a wax pencil as this gives me more control. Look at this cute shiny headlight. If only he knew about the amount of dirt that will come upon him.
Robby!
What better material to make my number plates from than from the tube of my favorite mayonnaise? It is made of coated aluminium and its thickness is in scale. I use this material to be able to bend it later on. You cannot get nice bends when using evergreen plastics in my opinion, so this is my way to go. I used the decals that came with the kit. I've considered making my own, but I couldn't find the right font type to get the characters correct for an old type British number plate. Aluminium is easy to cut and sand. Here I make the edges round with a diamond file. Before adding decals or paint, I prime this metal in order to get proper adhesion. This step shouldn't be left out for good results. I paint the plates with my mix of Vallejo light grey and Model Air chrome. Getting the decal on the aluminium strip went alright, I thought.
Whoa, shoot. There's an edge breaking off.
I found it on my finger and managed to get it back in place.
Ah, well there you go. My word.
With the other decal all was well, thankfully. I brushed on a softener to make sure the adhesion to the strip was good. And after drying them with the hairdryer, I put on a dull coat as a protective layer for the decals. Because in the next vlog I will have one last weathering rampage. Somehow I was able to make the door handles of the Mini disappear, so I designed and printed new ones. I painted them in my dulled chrome mix, but I think I'll change that to Model Air Chrome to get it in line with the other parts. Putting all the parts on the car I worked on for months is like laying the icing on the cake. Very satisfying. The grille is a part that needs a bit of a study to put it on right, but it fits well. The headlights have a protrusion at the back that fits in a slot on the body. Still, the left headlight glass, right for viewers, is a bit crooked. That needs adjustment later. Adding the Mini Cooper emblem on the bonnet is like being a sniper. You need to hit bullseye. But as scale modelers we are champions in fixating our muscles, right? The super small indicator light could be easily pressed in the body using Kristal Klear glue. Next up is the front number plate that gets a bend. This is why I use the mayonnaise tube. CA glue is there to make the bond and the bumper is pressed in the holes in the body without any glue. The fit is good enough, so why not? I applied CA glue for the number plate holder on the back as well as for the trunk handle. I only use one taillight, although I painted two. I probably forgot I would leave the left one out. Same thing for the fuel cap. The left will not be used. Oh, and the wipers are fake fitted, just for the looks of this shot. I will glue them on after the final weathering that will take place in the next video. When you've seen my video on how to make flat tires, you might remember that I didn't know where to put the air valves on the rim. Well, Lee responded and helped me out. He told me these are Cosmic RW10 wheels, which are pretty rare, but I could find a few pictures on the interwebs. Finally, the wheels can be put on. I made all of them more or less flat tires but one. The rear right tire will be used to make tire tracks on the diorama. After that job, it will get a stab, I think, before I mount it on the car. There are still a lot of things to do on the Mini. What about giving it a final weathering? Apart from the rust and the wheels, it looks mighty clean. And then there is the diorama, about which I haven't shared anything with you, dear scale model kit lovers. That will be a whole journey in itself. You can support me and my channel by becoming a Patreon, or a hobby Robbyist as I will call you then. You can also support me via PayPal. Check the links in the description below. And remember, don't be sobby, build a car model kit and watch Hobby Robby!
Hobby Robby! Hobby Robby! Hobby Robby! Hobby Robby! Hobby Robby! Watch this channel! Watch this channel!